At last we got a bit of sunshine. Following on from the last video where I sorted the brassica bed out, I'm now looking at the onion bed, and all the surplus manure what was on top of here, I've actually just raked it off down to here. You can probably see there. And then what I'm doing then, the bit what's left in the top, I'm just starting to turn this over into the soil, and then I'll leave it hopefully for a couple of days, get some rain on it. If not, put the hose pipe on, and I always then give my onion bed a dressing of superphosphates. So that's going to keep me busy for the next hour or two at least. There's one thing with allotment, when you've got jobs you can hop on one to another. I've done about half an hour of digging. I've had enough for today on that one, so I'm going to start looking at the carrot tanks now, and these will be topped right up to the top with sifted soil. But in the meantime I'm going to give these one last feed, and that's about 4 bucketfuls or 4 watering canfuls of comfrey juice. First of all, it's got the crust on the top which is going to smell a bit, but that's not going to go to waste. I'm going to put that into the worm bin, and I love it. This is me comfrey store. Apologies to the cameraman for the stench. So this is quite a lot of top stuff on it, and this is how this is going to go in the worm bin. Oh, it does smell, but that'll do it good. Into the bucket. Take as much as this as I can off, and then we'll start watering. Whew. Well, in total I put about 6 or 8 cans in there, and that's going to soak down nicely deep into the tank and provide a good feed. All that's left now is to get the topping on the top to bring it up to the level. Following the success of my wicking system that I did, I think it was 2 years ago, where I grow my chilies and peppers in there, I decided to make another one. I couldn't get the same size tank. This one's slightly smaller, however, so I've got a bit more perspex. I've marked the holes in for these pots. These are different and all. I went to my local hydro shop, and they don't stock exactly the same ones as I'd got before, which are these. Nonetheless, I've marked all the apertures out evenly, so now I'm going to cut them out. And in here I'm going to be growing aubergines, and I don't know what else, whatever fits in there, but definitely the aubergines are going to have a go in there. So if you haven't seen the wicking system I built, I think it was a couple of years ago, put a little link at the side and go and take a look at that after. We've had quite a few steady, productive days. The brassica bed's almost done now, just one top dress in a Perlka. And I've already started here on the onion bed, just over halfway. And this top dressing with the manure and letting it soak in has really worked for me. So I've just dragged the top shavings across. Most of them are wood shavings and they'll rot down anyway, but I'm going to bag them up anyway. But so this is turned in nicely. The soil is absolutely teeming with worms, which is what I like to see. So that's almost done there. But I've had another little go on this bed, and there's been, say, you can see the wood shavings and that. I've piling that up. I've just created an area along the back here, if I can show you. And this is where the peas are going to go. There's going to be 3 rows of peas in here, and I've already put the one channel out ready to get the first gutter, which I'm in the coal frame. Before I plant the peas, I'm going to remove the climbing frame. I really only put this in just as a guide to where to dig the channels out. That'll come back in a bit later on. Because once the peas are in, I'm going to give them a little cover with the cloche, just to give them that bit of extra warmth to get the roots back into the ground. This first load of peas here, first of all, the germination's not been brilliant, and also it took a really long while. These have probably been in here 4 or 5 weeks, and I must say the germination's not all that good. I've got another 2 gutties that I'm going to put in there a bit later on, and that's not looking too good either. So I always do 3 sowings of peas, and so for the third one I'm really going to make them dense. We'll see how that goes. Before I plant the peas out, I like to give the bottom of the trench just a little light dusting of fish blood and bone, and that gets them something to get the roots into. I'll just pop this little cloche on now. It'll say it'll help warm the soil up a bit to get them established. I've done a video on peas in the Grow Made Easy series, so if you want to have a look fully how I do it from start to finish, have a look at this little pop-up and the QR code on the left hand side. This year I've grown quite a lot of different varieties of tomato, and the reasoning behind that, I want to get a range of different flavours. I tend to just grow the Tumbler and Crimson Crush, as you probably know, but I've added a few extra blight resistant ones, and these are another cherry type. These are the ones that I purchased from DT Brown. They've just come through, and bonus really, it was advertised as 3 plants, and there's 2 in each plot. And these are a variety called Toddler, which I've not been come up against before, and just looking at the blurb on their website, it's the new kid on the block for 2024. The tomato Toddler is one of the most dynamic introductions for the years, with long trusses that bear 12 to 16 mid-sized glossy red cocktail tomatoes, crack resistant. Fruits are really super tasty with a Brix rating of 10%, so are considered sweet but also have a pleasing tomato tang to them. The Toddler has a strong package of disease resistant, that's the blight resistant, helping provide trouble-free production all season long, and it's the indeterminate variety. So I'll say these are a new variety on me. Bonus, I'm going to split these up, so I've got 6 plants, and also within the package come another thank you. I did put a discount code on there before, but I'm not sure if it's run out. I'll have a look. But this one is £5 off your next order when you spend over £25. I'll put that underneath anyway. So I'm going to pop these on, and that's some more to the collection. I've just sown my 3rd and final batch of peas, another 2 gutters. And there's 2 or 3 things changed on this one. First of all, because the germination was disappointing to say the least on the 2 batches already sown, I've sown these much thicker than I normally do. Secondly, I've used a fresh batch of seeds, and last but not least, this is purely peat based compost, and this is clover multi-purpose. So we'll see what this brings us. Now I've got the bulk of that liquid goodness into the tank. I'm just starting now to top it up to the level, then hopefully we can sow a few carrots in the next week or so. This stuff here I've got is the spoils from the chili wicking system that I have in my greenhouse there. I've got a couple of bags of this, and it's quite fine already. I don't know if you can see that, but the all that's left is the odd root or 2. Plenty of worms in here. So I'm going to run this through the soil sieve, whack it in there, and what I'll do then is cover it up because I don't need to get compressed with the rain. So let's get it done. So that's the carrot tank topped up. The soil from the capsicums and the chilies was just enough, and that's what the level it's brought it up to. So it's gone through the rotary sieve and it's come like powder now, this soil has. Still got a bit of moisture in, but that's no problem at all. What I'm going to do is put the cover back on top of here now, just keep it covered until I'm ready, probably next week, maybe the week after, to start sowing the sweet candle carrots. As part of the big bed clear up, these the three here are going to be me tomatoes, salad crops and whatever. But first of all, I've still got some leeks in here, so I'm going to dig these out and do a bit of weeding, and then we'll have a look what the last final harvest of leeks brings. Well, these are the leeks we managed to salvage. There's one or two past the sell-by date, but considering we're into May now, can't really complain. What I'll do, I'll put these into a bucket, give them a little wash and a clean up, and probably take a photograph and show what we've ended up with. That's the first pass of the weeding done. Looks much better than it did 2 or 3 hours ago. So I got most of the roots out. What I'll do next, I think, is go with the soil miller, scrub the top up again, and that'll fetch even some more little stragglers left, and I'll get them off, and then level it, and then it's ready to go. These other 2 beds here, there's not much work in them. Then I'm ready then to start planting out the salads and the tomatoes. The final piece of jigsaw in the brassica bed preparation is the application of Perlka. Now I'll just give a bit of history on that. On our site we suffer terrible with a disease called club root, which affects most brassicas. And in the early days I used to use a chemical called R-Militox. Very similar to Jay's fluid, where you apply it to the soil and it actually disinfects it. But the danger with that is it affects everything down into the soil, including all the wildlife, microbes and stuff like that. That eventually got took off the market, and is by accident I was speaking to a guy at one of the shows, Medwin Williams. His name is quite well known in the gardening world, and he mentioned a product called Perlka, which is this stuff here. At the time he was the only one I could find where I'd imported, because it was from the foreign lands and that. But eventually now there's more and more companies got this in stock, and what it is, it's like a blue pelleted thing. I don't know if you can see it there, and it's a calcium cyanamide, and it's the second part of the name which frightens people. It's cyanamide and not cyanide. And what it does, you give this an application on the bed. I like to do it before the plants go out, and it's 2 ounces I think to a square yard, 50 grams per square metre. And what it does, it applies nitrogen into the soil. But the other good thing about it, once it gets moist with rain or water in that, it actually converts to hydrated lime, which goes in the soil, and it certainly works for me combating club root. The guy on the plot next to me, he grows brassicas as well, and he got hammered every year with club root, and I introduced him to this. He's been using it 2 years, and last year he had a clean crop completely. I grow around about 100 plus different brassicas, and I should say you can count on one hand how many cases of club root I've had. So that's Perlka. If you want to have a more detailed look at what's involved in this, just put it into your favourite search engine and I'm sure it'll come up with the goods. Just before I finish, I'd just like to mention next weekend sees the Malvern Spring Show. Now at Malvern there are 2 good garden shows, one in the spring and one in the autumn, and they're both completely different. The autumn one tends to concentrate on the show, class vegetables, and also the giant veg, steam, heavy machinery and stuff like that. But the spring one has got brand new products, fresh flowers, lots of big marquees, plant traders, and the big thing I like is the show gardens. You can see the detail they go into to such small areas. so it's well worth a shot. If you'd be interested in having a little snippet of what's involved with the spring show, why not join me over with this video here.